So, let's talk about a concept that sounds like a total paradox: unity in diversity. And you know, there's probably no better place on Earth to explore this puzzle than the incredible cultural landscape of India. Let's try to piece it all together.
Okay, first things first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale we're dealing with here. India is home to over 1.4 billion people. That's almost 1 out of every 5 people on the entire planet. Just think about that for a second.
And get this, among those billion-plus people, you've got a staggering number of languages being spoken. We're talking at least 325 distinct linguistic traditions, and every single one has its own unique history.
And this isn't just about language. You can see it everywhere. It's visually stunning. Every region, every community, they all contribute their own unique customs and art and traditions. It's like this giant, complex, beautiful tapestry.
You know, this incredible complexity made one historian, Vincent Smith, ask a question over a century ago that really gets to the heart of it all. How do you find a single story in a land of so many? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to try and unpack right now.
Okay, so how on earth do you even begin to measure something so massive? The diversity was so huge, it actually required one of the most comprehensive anthropological studies ever attempted.
So, back in the late 20th century, the Anthropological Survey of India started this huge project called People of India. Their mission was basically to create a scientific catalog of the nation's human landscape. And what they found was, well, it was astonishing.
They identified 4,635 distinct communities across the country, every single one with its own unique social structures and traditions.
Remember those languages we mentioned a minute ago? Well, they confirmed it. 325 of them, all spoken within the borders of one country.
And to write all of those languages down, 25 different scripts. I mean, this isn't just diversity, it's diversity on a scale that's almost impossible to imagine. So where's the unity in all of this? Where is it hiding?
All right, let's start with something we can all get behind: food. Indian cuisine is actually a perfect way to see this many-to-one pattern in action.
I mean, think about it. You could probably eat a new Indian dish every single day for years and never repeat yourself. From these incredibly complex curries to the simplest street food, the variety really does seem infinite. That right there, that's the many.
But if you peek inside the kitchen pantry, a totally different picture emerges. Underneath all that amazing variety, you find this common foundation. A handful of staple grains, pulses, and spices are the base for countless dishes, from way up in the Himalayas down to the southern coast. And that's the one.
And you know what? We see this exact same pattern pop up somewhere else. Textiles. Here, a single piece of cloth tells a remarkably similar story.
Now, India is famous for its textiles, right? We're talking hundreds of traditional weaving styles, countless designs, a whole rainbow of colors. From fancy Banarasi silks to simple everyday cottons, the diversity is just dazzling. But here's where it gets really cool. This cloth isn't just for wearing. It can be a cradle for a baby, a bag to carry stuff, protection from the sun, even a fishing net. It's versatility like in its purest form. So what is this incredible do-everything object? It's the sari, and at its heart, it's the simplest thing you can imagine, just a single, unstitched piece of fabric. This is the one that gives birth to all of the many possibilities.
And this isn't some new thing either. The history here is just wow. The sari isn't a modern invention. We have archaeological evidence like this ancient stone carving showing women wearing it thousands of years ago. It's a single, continuous thread running through centuries of history.
Okay, so we've seen it in food, we've seen it in clothing. Where else does this pattern show up? Well, let's talk about festivals. A single event in the sky can spark celebrations across the whole country, each one with its own unique flavor.
Let's take two festivals, Lohri in Punjab and Pongal down in Tamil Nadu. Now, at first glance, they seem totally different, right? But if you look just a little bit closer, both are harvest festivals. Both are celebrated in mid-January to mark the changing seasons. The names are different, the customs might be different, but the reason for the party, it's the same.
And it's not just those two. Look at this. Maghi Bihu in Assam, Uttarayan in Gujarat, Makara Sankranti in a whole bunch of other states. It's one shared celebration, just expressed in all these beautiful, different ways.
Okay, for our last example, let's look at storytelling, at literature.
where we see how one single great story can end up being told in the voices of so many.
So, many of you have probably heard of India's great epics, like the Ramayana, which you see depicted here. This ancient story of heroes and gods and quests, it's like the foundational one that sparks countless other tales.
But these stories, they didn't just sit locked away in old books. No way. They flowed out like rivers into every single corner of the country, getting adapted and retold in hundreds of different languages and folk traditions. Tribal communities took these big national heroes and wove them right into their own local landscapes and histories. So in essence, one epic story became 1,000 different stories, and each one beautifully reflects the community that tells it.
So when you put it all together, maybe the best way to think about this great Indian puzzle comes from the poet Rabindranath Tagore. He saw the beauty not just in the many or just in the one, but in that dynamic, creative dance between them. And I guess the question that leaves us with is this. In our world, it's getting more and more connected. How can we all cherish the play of the many without losing touch with the things that make us